Morning, Brew Crew. Welcome to CR&E Morning Brew. It's October the 9th, 2025. Very cold morning here. It was only 40 or 41 degrees when I got up. So, burr. Sorry about that. I'm trying to get this thing up and running. All right. Same train as last week. Anyway, hopefully y'all can hear me okay. Let's see here. Who's in? We got 187th HO scale, steel mill modeling. Good morning. Tennessee River. Good morning, Chris. Second cookie. Yep. Hey, Artie. Good afternoon, buddy. Or evening, probably for you, right? 10:02. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. How you been? Gabrielle's good morning. Hey, derailed Daryl. Listening while driving. What's the wild work, huh? It's okay, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Here's Ronald. Morning, Ronald. Let's see. Right out to my podiatrist appointment just to let y'all know. Just posted a video on the Tennessee River Union 3.1. Do another soon in a day or two. Please combine, comment, like, share, etc. Yeah, it's making some good progress already on the new build. Check them out. There's Andy. How you doing, Andy? John Schoolkill. All right, John. Yeah, that's a little better. Dan Reed, how you doing? I got to meet Dan over the weekend last week and his buddy Tom. Tom? I think it was Tom. Great guys. Glad to finally meet up with them. And I met up with Rick's Trains. Went to that Berea Train show last Saturday. It was good. Not a bad show. It's always a pretty good show. Spent a whole $10.80. Like I said, I get a little picky. I don't really know if I don't really have something that I'm really looking for, and kind of funny about buying stuff sometimes. Buckeye Western Railroad, Greg. How you doing, Greg? Morning to you, sir. Good to see you in here. It's cold over there. Yeah, you're coming into spring now, though, right? You're going into fall, you're going into spring. I think that's how that works. Yeah, that's fine. I actually got the heat turned on, man. It's cold this morning. And the house was cold, you know. Okay, at least take the chill out of the air. Dave BNSFN scale. How you doing, Dave? Good to see you. Tammy and Ray, how you doing? Good morning. There's Thomas, Spike Man. How you doing, Thomas? Yeah, that's okay. I know you'll get it to me. Email me, or you got my phone number. You can always text me. I'll be out of town next week, but love to get down there. Love to see what it's all about. Jason, Colonel Cottonbelt. Good morning. He's been working out some train schedules on the layout. All right. I got to get into one of your live streams. I've been on one of your streams in a long time, but I'm able to catch it. I got no idea what's going on with the railroad. Nothing. I did get to at least listen in on the live stream from Stormy Sky last Saturday night. I was watching the Buckeye game and I had him on my phone listening to that. Go back and watch that. There's some good links in there for some contributions to some good veteran type causes with like PayPal type information if you want to donate to anything like that. Rewatch that if you didn't catch it live. It was a good stream. Like I said, I was listening in, I was watching the game, but I wasn't really commenting a whole lot. So that's okay, Joe. I'm on here for a bit too. So no worries. There's Lee. Lee, I'm coming out your way. We leave tomorrow night for London. So excited about that. Excited to go see my girl. Miss her. Good to see her. And I'm sure we'll do some sightseeing and everything while we're there. You guys had frost. I wouldn't be surprised if we had some frost last night. Didn't look like it, but I'm kind of surprised we didn't. Because according to the thermometer, it was only like 41 this morning. So it might still be a little bit warm, but it was pretty darn cold. Yeah, that's kind of how it's been here, though, Artie. It's been nice sleeping weather, like 50s, 60s, closer to more like 60, upper 50s. And during the day, it's been getting up to almost like 75 and 80. So it's been beautiful weather. A couple of days of rain this week early, but Jeff's N-scale trains. Jeff, did you shorten the name? Because wasn't it N-scale HO and O or something like that? You had like all of them in there. Kind of like it, if that's what happened. I kind of like the shortened version there. Easier to say. But welcome in. See Jason saying hi. There's Anthony. Good morning, Anthony. Got some good news coming up there for the little get together on the 1st. Should have a couple guests at the house, and should be a good time. Look forward to it. Frost advisory in Toledo 2 days after a record high. Yeah, because I mean we were like hitting 80s, man, and above. I think on my way out of work on I want to say Monday. What day did I get out? Monday or maybe it was Tuesday. The car said it was like freaking almost 90. It was like 87 degrees or something. They lock your doors. What are you doing that for? Busy working on, Jeff says he's busy working on his layout this morning and drinking coffee. Well, I'm not really working on the layout, but I am drinking coffee. After I get off from doing this stream, got a lot of work to do. I gotta finish up with some clothes to wash and everything for the trip. Gotta get to packing. Everything's kind of laid out, but I gotta actually start packing it. So there's that. I bought a Polar Express light up keychain. Here's my rant. It's supposed to be resin, but it's zinc die cast. Huh. Pretty cool though, as it lights up. Yeah, I got a kind of busy day. That's all right. Jeff, it's hard to make them all, man. There's so many good shows out there. It's hard to find time to see them all. You know, watch all the videos and the live streams and everything, but we do what we can. That's all you can do, man. Ray Bartleson, good morning. Everyone is always welcome here in the train room out here in Geneva, Illinois, USA. Oh, Geneva. So you're like the Geneva sub, Rochelle, and in that area, or no? Or is that totally different? Could be. I'm not real familiar with the towns and everything in Illinois. The only thing I know in Illinois is Chicago. I don't really know it that well. Just know that that's in Illinois. Already says he's been busy with other life stuff too, so not much on during the weekdays. So I'm missing all the old streams. Yeah. No, I get it. And I've been busy on the weekends, and wife and I have been trying to enjoy these, last few weeks of summer and early fall where it's still nice out. I haven't really done much yet on the layout, and kind of hit or miss as far as making videos, watching videos, going on live streams and participating and stuff. I don't know. Why don't you call him? Text him. Tell him to get his butt up and get in here. That bum. Sure, he'll be on later. 6 o'clock. Wheels on my truck contracted. All my tires show low pressure. Yeah. Yeah. Usually happens this time of year, right? Start to get that first little cold snap. Hey, I talked with Darren, B&H Railroad, what is he called now? Empty Pockets or whatever. And he's starting to build some bench work, him and his son. So he might be getting back into, or he's getting back into it. He might be getting back into making some videos and stuff. I don't know if you, some of you may remember Darren, some of you may not, but yeah, he's a good guy, and we'll see. Looking forward to it. Hopefully he gets things up and going. He's had a couple of false starts, I guess. I thought he was going to be able to, and then had to move rooms, and he was out in the shed for a while, and then he ended up bringing it back in. So he's finally got the space laid out, I think. He's starting to build some bench work. And his son's getting old enough to really kind of be able to help now. I think he's, I want to say 6 or 7 is sticking in my mind. Could be wrong. Could be a little bit younger, but right in that general, like, grade school, kindergarten, first grade kind of age. So he says it was 37 this morning on the mountain. I'm sure I'm ready for that. And there's Rick. And it says, where you at? Right. Chris is at the dietary office listening in. Gotta get some headphones, man. Some earbuds or something. Yes, I keep getting crap from people about the HO. They keep calling it hose. HOS. But as your name goes, that's okay. That's fine just with the N scale. I mean, you could even call it just Jeff's trains, or, Jeff's model trains, or something like that. Not have to be overly specific. Raised in Lansing, North Carolina. Dan working on mom's cabin. Okay, I asked him. Sold HO. Sold hose. He's during the day, 40 to 50 during the night. Last night we had cyclonic winds. Western North Carolina. I haven't spent a lot of time in North Carolina. It's basically been through. It's always been like a run through on the way to Florida or whatever, or the Carolinas, like South Carolina or even Georgia. But I've always enjoyed the scenery when I've gone through. Like I said, I've just never really spent time there. Except in northern Illinois. Yeah, I'm in northeast Ohio, so in the northeast corner of the state. About I don't know, hour, maybe hour and a half to like Erie, Pennsylvania. Between Cleveland and Erie is where I live. You talking about North Carolina? Artie? About an hour from Wisconsin. Okay. Oh, so we're really north. Oh, your live streams. Yeah, I know we had this conversation. It's just kind of, you'll find that sweet spot and stick to it. So the town got hit hard. They're still rebuilding. Yeah, that was rough. Man. It was rough, and the recovery was uncalled for. The way that all went down, and very disgraceful how that all went down. 24 hours from Tulsa. So they're on the Central Railroad tracks in the 1870s. I found railroad spikes. They were in the lake. How'd you find them if they were in the lake? 38 hours. Oh, take a huge break from the layout. Got a collapsed sewer line under the house. Slabs. We're going to have to gut the bathroom and the floor and the other. And new lines. Oh man. Yeah, I think I saw something that your wife had posted on Facebook. That sucks, man. Oh, that sucks. Man, I feel for you. That's a lot of work and a lot of money. Sorry to hear that, Jason. Do it this time twice a week. I get more people, but I'm busy, so I try at 9 at 7. But that's a dead time because everyone's doing it at the same time too. Yes, you are correct. It's ready to show. Frisco spikes. Oh, that's cool. Got all about him. Need to reach out and see if he wants any help. What are you talking about, Anthony? What did I miss? Here's where it is. House was built in 81 with cast iron lines. Also was a DIY house, so nothing was built to code, but there isn't a code when you live out in the county. Yeah, Rick's got his own group of dinosaurs on his layout too. Hey, Dave. Yeah, you made it. Good morning. How you doing this morning? What's going on with your layout, man? Any progress on your shed layout? Or any of your layouts? I know you got one in the house too. Maybe I just am not getting notifications. I don't know. FO scale. Is it really FO? I don't know. I had to do the same thing about 3 years ago. Oh, it's a new sewer line. Oh, jeez. I'm thinking back on it. I probably should have had him do the sewer line when I had him do the water lines. I had to do a new water supply line from the street. Probably about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. That was right. Well, I had the old layout up still, so it was it was probably 2018 or 2019, probably 2019, early 2020. And I put had to, when did I have that done? Had to be like early fall or something 2019. because I let the ground sit because I had to dig it up. So I left it like that all winter. It was a little bit mounded up. And in 2020, my son was still home. He wasn't gone from the army yet. So I rented like a rototiller and all that stuff, and he helped me get all that dirt leveled out and spread out. And I got topsoil and all that shit to reseed and redo the whole front lawn, which that was fine. I wanted to do the front lawn anyways at some point, but I didn't plan on spending $4,000 at the time to tear up the yard for a water line. If I had it done, I didn't do it. But yeah, because the layout was here, they were trying to go through the old line, like with a sleeve, like a new line through the old line, I guess. So they didn't have to tear up the yard. What it cost would save me a lot of money. But I don't know, they just couldn't seem to get through. They couldn't get the best access, partly because the layout and shit was in the way. I did remove what I could without tearing it all down, which I ended up doing like, I don't know, a year later anyways. All right, Chris, take care, man. CR&E 257. I don't even know. 9:15 is 9:22. So, you know me. What's that? Not quite 10 minutes. Just get me off on tangents and then, get them grandpa rails. Cast iron pipe. Geez, that's been outdated here for a long time. Yeah, I don't think they use that here. Well, maybe for waste. Yeah, maybe they do. Mine was built in 49. God only knows what the hell was under there. Probably clay. Yeah, probably cast iron. Maybe I should have had him look at that and done them both since it was already dug up. But anyways, I feel for you, man. Thankfully for me, I didn't have to break up concrete and tear out a bathroom or anything like that. I was able to, they tore up the yard, but you're going to probably tear up your yard too, at least somewhat. Urban Eastern, you need to go to the Great Smoky Mountain Railroad. Yeah. Guys, I'll recommend all these cool places, and then I forget. So I need to write them down. Carolina Mountains is nice this time of year. Yeah. It's got to be beautiful colors and everything. The trees changing and everything. Temperature crazy up here in Montreal. Well, I think this whole northern region here has been a little warmer than it should be anyways this time of year. I think normally we're only getting maybe 70, 75 for highs, We've been hitting 80, 85 still. I think that Indian summer, I think they used to call it. But I'm not really complaining. I'm glad it's kind of been nice. Looks like the wife's getting that bathroom remodel. Yep. Hey, Steve, good morning. Cast iron pipes in the whole house. I had to tear out every one of them. Clogged up. Damn. That makes me worry about what I got going on. Now, I do have them snake out my sanitary drain. Well, they camera it and then they snake it if it needs it. The county does it. So I'll say it's free, but it's not. It's all through taxes and stuff, Yeah, I'd love to go see it. We went on a train ride last Sunday, my wife and I, the Hocking Valley Scenic Railroad. It wasn't bad. It was okay. It was an old, it's either it was a GP7 or 9, I think. Chesapeake in Ohio locomotive. Painted that way anyways. I don't know if it was originally or not. Pretty cool place. Like the depot and everything was more interesting than the actual trip. It was kind of, the leaves hadn't really changed too much yet here. And that's like 3 hours south of me, so I don't think they've changed yet. We're a little further ahead than they are. Polar Express. Yeah, the Cuyahoga Valley line does that up here. We took the kids when they were little. You're going to get into like a lottery, man. It's popular. You got to put your name in like a lottery and get picked, then you get picked, and then you can buy your tickets. You can't even buy tickets until your name gets drawn. She wanted, yeah. Well, it sucks, obviously, Jason, but at least going forward, you should be good. You stay there for the rest of your life. You should not ever do that again, God willing. So there's that. Trying to find you a little silver lining there. Well, you got it tore up. You might as well replace anything else you can while you're in there. If there's supply lines or anything alongside them. I think my supply and waste are not too far apart. I don't think. That's what I said. I probably could have probably looked at doing them both at that time. Jason needs an outhouse. Joe said Jason needs an outhouse. Jason says, Joe, that's our camper sitting in the driveway. Well, at least you have that. Yeah, because that's going to be like hard to even do, like washing dishes, taking showers, all that stuff. Got to go through that same line, probably, right? There in B&H, yeah. Wow, yeah, that must be way behind. Looks like the internal cast iron drains in my house 15 years ago. Yeah, it's a pain, It's a lot, and it's not something that's like. I mean, I guess you would get your money returned maybe on it because that's all stuff that's really expensive to do. If you were to just saying, if you were to sell your house, not that you're going to do that, but it's not. I always say it's not sexy. It's not like something that people can look at the curb appeal of your house or come in and see you put a brand new kitchen in. Jason, you'll have a nice new bathroom to show off, but you know what I mean. It's not like you put in new siding or a new roof or new windows or something that people can see. But Joe has a basement, just like I do. So you and I are pretty close to the same style of house. Not pretty close to the same size too. Probably might be a tad bigger because they had put that in the 90s or 80s. Let's see, Steve says we're finally closing on a new place tomorrow. Cross your fingers. Good luck, man. Good luck. Yeah. It's nice and it's not nice. The basement. Could be a real pain in the ass, too. All right, Joe, have a great weekend. Have a good week coming up. Hey, Scott. This moment I don't train layout and enjoy my HO Scout Train Club last April. I've been catching a ride with one of the train members. Join the hobby again on my train club. Well, that's good. That's what it's about, man. Whether you have your own layout or whether you have somewhere to go run trains. It's a fun hobby. Yeah, shed layout. I'm pause going to get cracking on the room layout. Okay. I'm cranking on the room layout. All right. Hey, I can't even make much progress on my one layout. I don't know how you're working on two. Use copper for the first water lines and cast iron for the sewer lines. Replaced the first water lines years ago. I went with packs up through the attic. Can't really do that with sewer lines now. No, but they can do. Can they do like PVC now? Like that heavy gauge stuff for sewer? What are they using when they replace it? What are you using? Assuming they don't go with cast anymore. Yeah, absolutely. I would do the same thing if I was having to do. Like I don't know what they used outside. I think they did copper again. I could be wrong. I don't know. They may not have done anything. I wasn't here when they did it. Like, I was at work when they actually finally replaced everything. I wanted to be home so I could see what they were doing, but let's see. Better head off. Got heaps to do tomorrow. Clean up the yard from the windstorm last night. All right, Artie, good to see you. Have a good night. Take it easy, man. Hey, Curly. Well, I keep forgetting. I wanted to do one of those tanker videos, but I haven't had the time. It's been a weird week for work because I'm only working a half day tomorrow, but I made up that other half day on Tuesday. So it was just kind of weird. Like, I'm going to work 4 days instead of 3 this week. I know, boo-hoo. Boo-hoo for me. But, yeah. All right, Dan, hey, man, thanks for dropping in. I'm sure you've been gone 10 minutes now, but it's good to meet you last weekend. It was good to see you in here. We'll get together soon. Send me that information when you get time. These haven't changed very much. They're in the beginning stages here. Some trees go quicker than others. None of mine are really changed too much yet. I feel like mine kind of go late for whatever reason. I don't know why. The pin oak doesn't even. It's an ugly tree, man. It drops acorns everywhere. It's a beautiful tree when it's green in the summer, but drops a bunch of acorns everywhere, makes a mess. Leaves only turn like this ugly brown color, and I only lose about 2/3 of them in the fall. I had to bag the rest of them up in the spring. Bastards. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Well, I think you're planning on that being your long-term place, as far as I knew. And so there you go. If it was something you're only going to be there temporarily, that would sting a little harder because you're going to be fixing it for the next guy to shit in. Yeah, there you go. That's funny. How's that cool shed layout you got? Don't want to come back and clean it out and add that stuff to my new one. Yeah. Wash machine, and now the kitchen sink is right outside the back of the house over to a sewage pump. It runs over to the septic tank. Pump was installed before we bought the house. Oh, so it goes that way. All right. We do inspect a new place, make sure someone hasn't broken in the crawl space and cut out all the copper water lines. Happens more than I realize. The house hasn't been occupied. Yeah, unfortunately. Are you buying it as is, or is it, contingent on whoever owns it to repair it? Or can you buy like assume violations? They used to let you do that when you're buying a place. So that you get a little better deal if you were okay with, fixing all the violations or some of the violations yourself and not making the owner do it. So you got to do the same thing on the AC unit line as well. Yeah, very true. So 40 PVC, okay. But then, yeah, that should never have an issue again, right? For sure that is what has happened to the HVAC system. We are getting a $7,500 credit at closing to replace it. Well, that's good. And I am buying. I asked that question a long time ago. They're replacing it. Yeah, that's why it's almost worth paying a guy like Jason. You know, use Crooked Savings, 10% off for track plans. Of course, with all this going on, I don't know when he would get to it. He's got a lot on his plate right now, but he definitely does track plans. There's a lot of other guys out there too, but Jason's very reasonable. He's good at it. So if you're interested, Scott, hit up the Colonel Cottonbelt, the train freak, Jason, and take a look at your space and what you're thinking. He can help you walk through all that and decide and, give you a price for what he's going to do and then say yay or nay. It'd be a little harder if they don't know how to shut off the water supply to the house. It's county water, so you can't just kill the pump. Jason, do you have any refresh list of stuff for sale? Is that you talking about all that Facebook stuff he had from his buddy? What time and patience has to go into a good track plan? Yeah, I mean that's what I say. Scott, reach out to Jason and talk it over with him. Or if you're happy with the club layout, then just enjoy your trainings. That's the whole idea, man. Just enjoy your trainings. It doesn't matter where you run them. It's convenient to have it in the house, and you can go down there and do it whenever you feel like it, and not have to get a ride somewhere or go somewhere else to run your trainings. But at least you got somewhere to go and run your trains, right? Buying it as is, but has to be in the same condition it was on the day of the auction. Okay, so if you go back there and it's been gutted or something, then you can say no way. No way, Jose. The prototype track plan, but I don't know enough about scratch building from photos. Again, email them. Jason, throw your email or something up in there. And let them help you out. Let them take a look. You don't have to say yes, or whatever. At least talk to them. Currently, I still have a lot of the items that will be doing a bulk item sale. I want stuff to move so I can get to more of his stuff. I don't think there was anything else I was really looking at on there. Yeah, you're talking about buildings. You're talking about like just coming up with a plan out of the blue. That's different. You don't have to scratch build buildings. I mean, plenty of cheap stuff if you go to like train shows and stuff or whatever. You have to buy the most expensive stuff. In fact, just get the trains running. You can always add stuff little by little. I mean, obviously, it takes a long time to build stuff. This whole area behind me has just been sitting the way it is forever now. And I can't decide what I want to do. I wanted to go between this bridge you see over my shoulder on the one side, and then there's right there where the prime trailer is the swing bridge. My plan was to go from that bridge to that bridge and get that all squared away on the first level, and I just can't seem to figure out how I want to work that out or what I want to put in it. So it's just sitting there like that. But I can't seem to decide how I want to do it. Train club members told me that Proto freelance is better. That's what mine is. It's basically like the towns are real name towns. I'm kind of trying to get them in a geographical sequence of how the train passes through. But the layout of the towns, the industry in those towns, and all that stuff is not prototypical at all. So if you go and watch, I know I bring them up a lot. I think Jason too is kind of more proto freelance. But if you go watch Kansas and Western K&W, he is trying to be pretty prototypical, to even the industries that are in the towns along the way. So that'd be an example of a prototypical layout, or at least he's trying to be prototypical. Just put the track down and figure it out along the way. Simple. You can do that too. There you go. Train Freak Hobbies. Grab that email, Scott, and email Jason. At least talk to him about it. Maybe he can help you get some ideas in your head. I don't know. I know he can design something for you. He didn't design my layout, but he did a lot of design changes to make things work a little smoother. So he wasn't starting from scratch on mine. Might be a little better starting from scratch on yours because he's now working within the confines of what I already had, Like I told him, I didn't want to tear everything up. I mean, trying to tear up as little as I could. Just wanted it to run better and make more sense, which it does now. Anyhow, figure out where you want buildings so you know where to lay track. Then you can get past your buildings to fit the space if you need to. Yeah. Seaboard Airlines from Jacksonville to Savannah. That's cool. That's what I mean. Proto-lines. You have a Jacksonville to Savannah. So along that line, you'll have certain towns. So you can like model. You have the model like exact what's in those towns and all that. You can make some of it. You know, Scott's Hardware is in the town of I don't know Scottsville, Georgia. I don't know what the hell that's even at. That's even a thing. You may want to model that. So got your name in it. So that would be a prototype industry or business. Oh, Midwest Motor Railroad. I just put a ton of wood. Just put a ton of wood chop hoppers for sale. Buy them out, Anthony. Yeah, that's true. You do. Yeah. Yeah, he does good work, man. That guy's a pro. I mean, he did. If I'm not mistaken, he did like built. He built sets and stuff for like Hollywood stuff for Hollywood, I guess, and things for movies and that. Don't quote me, but I think he mentioned that at one point. Listen, send me some pics. I don't want to duplicate. Yeah, he got me for what about 10 covered hoppers, Jason? I do that this evening. I have a spreadsheet that lists everything there, mostly Mopac, but you could always patch them. Well, I think it runs Southern, so I don't know. Is Mopac would have been running along with Southern? No, maybe. I don't know, maybe not. He's done a bunch of museum builds too, yeah. The guy's amazing. There's no doubt about it. Way over my head, my capabilities. I want it to look good. I don't have to be, I don't know, perfection. He's perfection, and it shows. It's great. Texas chili beans are a bit hot. Yeah, they are. Good though, man. Especially in chili. Yeah, I know, man. I don't know. I don't like this. I gotta make up shit to talk about now. Oh, let me show you what I got at the show. My whole $10.80. I needed tweezers. 3 for 10, and then 80 cents for the friggin' tax. That's a nice fine tip on that one. That's that got the squeezer on there. And these are all just fine tips. So I guess you can see it. They're just fine tip. One's a little longer than the other. There's a tool guy that's at these shows all the time, and that's what I spent $20. It was $10 to get in. I spent $10.80. $20.80 cost me for the day. Made my wife buy me breakfast, so that didn't cost me nothing. Yeah, patching for the Georgia Sunbelt. If they're all the same, still send me one pick. The prices were good on everything he was selling, I got to say. That's how he got me for 10 hoppers. Steve Childers still beating you on who got the most stuff and who spent the most. Yeah, that's okay. It wasn't a competition. And I'll still look at stuff if you have more that comes up, Um, what the hell? Probably should take an inventory here and look at maybe selling some things myself. Somehow I got a ton of containers and container cars. I mean, I know that's probably my biggest reason I built this the way I did. But got to figure out a good way to store those things. Um, there were some guys that were selling those like cardboard boxes that I'm going to call them, for trains that you can, store your trains in and transport. Hey, John Trains, BFGR, good morning to you. Sorry, I missed you. But I missed you too. Morning, guys. So, Steve 9 Broadway eliminated California Zephyr passenger cars. Oh, wow. Those would be nice. Steve's real big in the passenger rail, right? Yeah. Yeah. When are you, well, because eventually you're going to start tearing that layout down, right? You're going to have to if you're going to be moving. I know, Steve, just for. New scale trains SD40s, right? Oh, he just got 4. I saw the video. I didn't get to watch it yet. I saw you put a video up. That guy's supposedly not too far from where I live. I wanted to try to get together with him. So he does is a mix of passenger and freight. Okay. I was thinking of riding the Via Rail Canadian train across Canada. There is a sale till October 14th. It's your 30%. Yeah, 30% off like 10 grand. I would love to ride that across. It's on my bucket list. I always wanted to take a train across there. Expensive. I was looking at riding the train down to Florida to see Chris at some point. And just a roomette for myself would be, I think, between $700 and $800 round trip. But still, it'd take like, what was it, 32 or 34 hours. I could probably fly for a couple hundred round trip, 300 maybe, and get there in a couple hours. Hey, Randall. How you doing, buddy? Long time no see. Heard a lot of guys complaining about this last run of those SD40s. They're still having the same issue with the sanding lines that they had, I don't know how many runs ago. Because I got some up here that the sanding lines are too long and they're getting caught in the wheels. You got to trim them down, cut them down, and then you lose the ends on them, and they don't look right because they're just cut. Some of the pilots are, wonky. I don't know. I hate to say it because I'm a fan of them scale trains, but I feel like their quality control's kind of gone downhill in the last couple of years for sure, and their prices keep going up. So I don't know. Have you seen the new GP40s at Class 1 Model Works just announced? I have not. The Canadian last November, fantastic experience. It looks great, man. I would love to go. I think I can even talk the wife into doing that because she's a good kid, man. She likes some of that stuff. She doesn't like going to train shows. To be honest with you, I'm not a fan of going to train shows really either. Kind of go, I run through, and that's it. I like going because it's a good place to meet up with people, that kind of thing, camaraderie. That's when I enjoy them. Like Amherst, once you've been to Amherst, every other train show is kind of a bust. Even the one I went to over the weekend, last weekend, it's a good show. It's a big show. It's in like 5 pole barn type buildings at the county fair. And it's a good sized show. But still, just for some reason, it falls short of Amherst. And most of them will, just because of the size and scope of it and everything. Look like sometime in the spring if I definitely decide to retire. Definite decision Make a decision February or March. Well, you're gonna. Well, you wouldn't really be able to move unless they let you work remotely all the time. You say if you retire, or if you don't retire, you're gonna hold off moving. I'm assuming. Was you on trains? I kind of figured I'd see you there in Berea last weekend. That's okay. Hopefully you'll be able to make it on November 1st after Deshler. I mean, guys are just meeting there. It's not like a big, like, sparky meet and greet where there's going to be a whole bunch of, like, festivities or anything. It's just going to be, we're just all going to meet up there and watch trains, shoot the shit, that kind of stuff. I really don't know. I'm not the one that planned it. It's Stormy Skies are coming down. That clan. Trackside Mike's coming down, and I don't know whoever else. Seems to be an issue. A lot of manufactured locomotives I have an Athearn. It's got an issue with the sanding lines. Well, yeah, it's going to be kind of tough because you want them to be long enough to be visible and be prototypical. Then you still have to be able to have the trucks move without interference. And like I've never had mine really interfere so much, like where it causes a derailment or anything. You can hear it clicking because as the plastic line as it moves past the truck, it'll kind of click. But I don't think I've really had it do any kind of damage with like derailing a locomotive or anything. This one comes with Tsunami decoder as individual operating fans. Oh, that's cool. Trying to copy off a Rapido, huh? With the fans. So, yeah. So, like I said, I'm going to have a couple guests that weekend, Halloween weekend. Georgia Sunbelt Anthony, he's coming up. And on his way, he's going to slide by and pick up Wilmer in the Head Valley. So they're going to hang out at my house for the weekend. Saturday, we're going to go over to Deshler and hang out. And then, assuming they'll leave probably Monday morning. I do have that Monday off, Anthony. I got the confirmation on that just yesterday, actually. So we'll be off that Monday. So Monday, Tuesday. Like I'm always off on Tuesdays, but so I'm excited for that. We're gonna get matching pajamas and everything. We're not. No, I don't think so. Anyways, I'll talk to Anthony. There's some ones with railroad crossing signals on it and stuff. Oh God, help us. Hey Wesley. Folks are cutting those plastic sanding lines with copper or some other metal stock wire. Oh, cutting and replacing, yeah. Well, that's all fine and good, but the biggest thing, and a lot of people are saying this too, not just me, the locomotives are $325. More than some, less than others. I understand that. Why do I have to do a damn thing to that locomotive to have it run properly and all that? Or to have it be 100%. I don't care if it's $100 locomotive. If you're claiming it's got all this, that, and the other on it, and it's all prototypical and all these things, why should I have to do anything to that locomotive or send it back to you for you to do it? Because how are you going to fix that? You're going to just send it back to you and you're going to cut the sanding lines so they still look cut. Might as well save myself the headache and just cut them myself. So I think that's where guys are getting frustrated, especially as the prices just continue to go up. And then they continue to have this crappy quality control. And I'm talking about all of them. I mean, Athearn, Scale Trains, Atlas, all of them. And I get you put out thousands and thousands of these items, these locomotives or freight cars or whatever. So you're bound to have an issue here or there, a little thing maybe on some. But you get a lot of guys talking about it. So I don't know. I'm not trying to bash them, but I have noticed. See, I know. Okay, I already did that. I went backwards from you because I thought I missed something. Yeah, I understood what you meant, Steve. You know what train yard that was by 71 yet there? Don't know the name of the train yard. Never been able to figure out how to get in to see that train yard. I've driven around there. Pappy has too. To try to figure out how to get closer to that. I mean, short of stopping on the highway there. That's the Norfolk Southern Yard. I don't know what the name of that yard is. Anybody in the area that might know, it's I-71 and I-480 in Cleveland area by the airport. So I don't know if anybody in the chat would know the name of that yard. But like I said, it's not easily accessible without trespassing for sure. Let's see the trains I have on my operator ones. They're awesome. I should bring that. Yeah, I got two of them sitting up there. I'm like, why not? Obviously, they're operators, so they're not as detailed. However, one of my first attempts at weathering, I kind of roached them out. But I also added some MU hoses and then whatever the hell that is. And it's all done with like just wire, like like electric wire. Painted those up to look like hoses. Did the same thing on the back, but they don't have sanding lines or any of that stuff. This one I got really heavy-handed on these. These were pulling my coal trains when I had the coal mine and everything. The same thing on this. So, and I didn't get that roof quite as bad as this one. So, like I say, one of my first attempts at weathering. Admittedly, I got a little heavy on it, but I'm happy with them. It's really the only operators I have left. The only thing I wish they had was some sort of keep alive in them. I got a broken horn on this one. Damn it. That's sad. You just went to Dexler. You already got that one. Thanksgiving weekend, a local club in Huntington has a train show at the Civic Arena. Always out of town with the family for Thanksgiving, so I haven't seen it yet. Yeah. Been a vendor at train shows for 15 years. I know less people are coming to the shows these days. Also less club displays. Yeah, very few club displays this year. I didn't notice a lot. And the attendance is down. The amount of vendors was definitely down. Like I said, the show I just went to is generally that's the big one in this area for the fall. And then in the spring, there's a big one at the college, community college. It's a pretty good show. But even that one's been kind of weak. I know COVID ruined a lot of stuff. That being one of them. So a lot of guys like kind of quit going to stuff like that. And then no offense to the vendors, I mean, you got to make your money. And I always say this, it's not like I want you to give it away. But some guys are really ridiculous on their prices. It's like full price. Guys are going to shows to get deals. They're going there to see what's new, to get good deals on used stuff. And some of these vendors, man, they just want top dollar for everything. Say, well, shit. I mean, I guess I'd be saving on shipping because I'm already there. I mean, but sometimes I'll buy something because of the price. I asked Rick, I picked up a 2-pack of day cabs, trucks, and a sticker for $17, one on each end of the thing. And I wasn't thinking about it. I'm like, $17? 2 trucks? Or like those trucks and stuff, or one of those companies. Well, it was $17 a piece, which still wasn't a terrible price, but I didn't need them. I just said, well, yeah, for $17, I'm going to buy these 2 trucks. That was a great deal. It wasn't. It was for each one. Again, still a good price. I didn't need the trucks, so I put them back. So that's how I am. If I find a great deal like that, I may pick it up even if I don't need it. And it's something I could display or use. I don't necessarily have to have it. But you could get me on the price sometimes. This one is pretty bad, Dave. It does cause it to derail on curves. Yeah. Are you talking about the one you have? Yeah. Maybe it's worse. Like the ones I had that were originally doing it, I might have been on those 40-3s that I have. The original one, the 4047 that I have. I think it was causing some minor issues, but I don't think it ever caused it to derail. But it's been an issue on those for a while, especially on the 40-2s. At least maybe they fixed it and then they didn't fix it again. I don't know. Either way, it's a $325 locomotive. They shouldn't have to do anything to fix them as modelers. It should be perfect for that kind of money. I was buying something used as a project, as I kept saying to Rick and Dan and Tom over the weekend. I was like, it's a cool thing. It's a cool locomotive, whatever. It'd be a project because I'd have to add a decoder and have to add a speaker and all these other things. I wouldn't have to, but I would want to. And I got enough projects, so I didn't want to add another project. So, anyways. Yeah, I don't think anything makes gears metal anymore, do they? I mean, the worm gear is metal, usually. At least it's scale trains, I think it is. Maybe not. What are you laughing about? Oh, the pajamas. So I got behind again. You guys commented and complimented me on being caught up, and then I got behind again. Damn it. All right, Dave, you take care. 10 minutes ago. No, you know what? I have to agree, Caparels. It's very sad. Somebody commented, maybe it was Randall, that they're just not selling them, not getting enough interest in the operator versions. I don't know. I know I prefer the rivet counter locomotives. I like the details. But as far as operator cars and stuff, I know they still do those on most of their stuff. And I'm fine with operator there. But with the cost of things, I'd almost be more willing to buy the operator version and add my own details. Of course, it's a little tough sometimes, and little detail parts and big hands, bad eyes. Gets to be a little tough to do. I haven't pulled these out in a while. I should run these. Probably dirty as all get out. I'm in southwestern Ontario, Canada, doing shows. No. When I bought these, the operator with it's the budget version of a Loxon. Yeah. Is there sound, DCC and sound? These things were $99. And I bought those probably, it's been a while ago now. It's probably like 2018 or so when they first came out with them. I think this was the second run they did. Because the first run they had trouble with the coupler pockets accepting other couplers, like KDs. Because the way the pockets were like rounded or something, it wouldn't fit the KDs. So the second run, they fixed that issue so you can swap out the couplers. Hey, James. How's your trip, buddy? Hope you're having fun. Insurance with Arkansas keeps growing every year. Yeah. I mean, like the show I went to over the weekend was still, this was a big show, but I just feel like some of the buildings weren't as full as I remember them being, with vendors and stuff. Would have thought it would have been busier. The line was pretty long when we first went in. We got there when it opened. Rick let me cut in line with him. He's a bad influence. They're probably. Well, the market's shrinking because you keep charging more money for everything. And I know it's cost of everything goes up and blah, blah, blah. We're getting in the whole conversation on that. But, you get to a certain point where guys said to hell with the new stuff and they're trying to buy the old stuff. Well, now the vendors are cranking up the prices on the old stuff because, it's more popular now because people can't afford the new stuff. So then the vendors were jack up the prices on the used shit. And it's stuff that I go to enough train shows, I see the same vendors all the time. And I see a lot of the same stuff still sitting. And they won't even knock a couple bucks off of it just to move it. You're not selling it. You've had this with you the last 2 years I've seen you at these shows. Why don't you sell it for a few bucks less and get rid of it? Because whatever you paid for it to start with, you've already lost that money. And it's not making any money sitting there. So you might as well, take what you can for it. No, they did, but they didn't. They also were touted as the value and quality for like the operator line was good value and high quality. Not the details on the operator, but the quality was the same as the rivet counter, the motors, the drives, and all that. The difference on the operator was that you didn't have all the detail parts added. You can buy they were offering detail kits you can do yourself. And the difference was all the shelves for all the SD40-2s were the same. No variation. So like the rivet counter, CSX has different variations of their 40-2s compared to NS, compared to Union Pacific, so on and so forth. But the operator was touted as the same high quality, budget friendly. And that appeals to a lot of guys. I mean, come on, like I said, I paid $100 for a DCC equipped locomotive. Now, granted, it was the ESU, whatever their budget decoder was. So you didn't have all the functions like that you have on the version ESU Loxel 5, the high end or whatever, You still had all your basic functions. You could change the horn to like 3 different horns, and the same thing with the bell. There's 3 or 4 horns, 3 or 4 bells, things like that. Still had ditch lights. Well, these don't have ditch lights because it wasn't typical for this locomotive in that era. But if it did have ditch lights, they would have ditch lights too. Working ditch lights. I don't know. But apparently, like somebody said, they didn't sell them. Okay, Anthony, we'll talk to you later, man. That's good, James. I got behind on missing out here on the conversation, so I'm really way behind. This is just me, but I think we're getting to the point where these models are getting too detailed with too many features, which is also driving the price up. Well, I agree. And some of the like those moving fans, that's the coolest thing, man. I think that's so cool. I think when it was Rapido that did those, that was neat. But that shouldn't be the only option. You know, like right now, Scale Trains seriously only has rivet counter locomotives or museum counter or quality, whatever the hell they call it. So you kind of pushed all the budget lower end guys away from your locomotives, at least. You know, I mean, I guess you make those business. I'm not in their boardroom. I don't make those decisions, and I guess there's reasons to. Yeah, I guess there's reasons why you do things, and maybe they're not selling them. So, oh nice. Oh yeah, happy Thanksgiving, you guys up there in Canada. Um, I forget you guys are in October. And it's good. Happy Thanksgiving. Have a great holiday. You guys celebrate Halloween and stuff, don't you? Still October 31st? It's not just an American thing, right? Son, engineer in Georgia. Name is Tim, and they're watching. That's a good channel. He does very good work. I was just watching some. Rick's a bad influence, man. I'm just gonna say, he was trying to talk me into buying the what do you call it? That proto throttle for $500. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. I'd have been sleeping on his couch if I'd have bought that. All right, Steve. Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here too, man. Just trying to get caught up. See you, John. See you guys hopefully tonight on Jim Tedesco's channel. Para Walner's main line. Well, they're even getting up there too, the main line. We're starting to, they're better. Prices are better. But again, they're not, rivet counter detail or anything. They're not there's proto detail or anything like that either, but they're still nice. Nice locomotives. All right, Ronald, you take care. Again, I'm not, everybody buys what they can afford, what they want, what they like. I'm not knocking anybody for any of it. I'm really not. If I sound that way, I apologize. It's just frustrating to me. Like at this point, I probably would buy more operator locomotives just because the price would be better. And I don't know. As I've gotten more into the hobby, yeah, I do buy a lot of rivet counter, don't get me wrong, but I have enjoyed learning how to do more work on locomotives, especially adding decoders. I usually go with soundtracks because I like their decoders. The reason I don't put them in the scale trains is because you got to change out the whole board and the whole 9 yards is a pain in the ass. You can't just pop in a 21-pin soundtracks decoder. I still paid full price for those containers that look new. Yeah, well, you know what? Buyer's remorse, but you get nice. They're still nice containers, right? They're not broken or nothing, so I guess you didn't have to pay shipping. Well, for you it was a little more because you drove a couple hours from Michigan. It was still probably cheaper than if you bought them and had to have them shipped. So just trying to find the silver lining for you there. But they were nice, what I saw of them. But again, this is another example of somebody at a train show selling shit at full price, and if guys aren't savvy to what the full price brand new is, I'll pull out my phone and I'll search them. If I'm trying to buy, I'll pull out the damn phone and I'll search to see if it's a good deal or not. All right, John, have a good day. Okay, Papa John, that's good. Put up a short of a cool pipe load, all right? Here's what I found out. According to scale trains themselves, the operator locomotives weren't strong sellers, so they elected to stop making them and focus on the rivet counter and museum quality. Okay, I mean, again, it's a business decision on their end. I think there's a, I don't know. I think it's a mistake, but then again, like I said, it's just my opinion. And for me, I generally buy the rivet counter stuff. I haven't bought an operator locomotive in a long time. In fact, I sold a lot of my operator locomotives off. I kept these two because they were weathered, and these are my first two scale train locomotives I ever bought. And kind of more of a sentimental thing for me. I haven't run them in a long time. I don't even know if they run, you know, sure they do. I mean, they're just sitting up there in a cabinet. I'm sure they run, but I don't know. And I get it. They have to stay viable, you know. They are their bad influence. Yeah, blue box for $20. Yeah, that's too high. That did help my sales when I was. Oh, you said a whole flat for them. A whole like how many in a flat? I thought you meant. I read that as individuals. $5 a car. That is more reasonable. Even 5 to 10, depending on the car and the condition. I like blue box too. Like if it wasn't built, $10 blue box kit, or even $10 for a kit to build. I mean, yeah, you got to add your own couplers and all that, but I like building the kits, and this way I know I built it. It wasn't somebody that slopped a bunch of shit all over it and glue and everything. Yeah. Yeah, cars like those, the older like Tycos that you've upgraded, and whatever Bachman, the older. So even Bachman wants a lot of money for their cars now, man. I don't know. Still Bachman. Um, you kind of, I had a lot of cars like that in the beginning. I still have a few. I've sold off a lot of them as I have replaced them with, like you said, some things that are a little better, detailed. I'm not so much in the tangent. A Pro 2000, I like building those kits. There's a lot of detail in those kits. Tangent, I would say they're too expensive, but damn, everything is $50 anymore. It's insane. Even I've seen some mainline stuff that you used to be able to get for 25, 35, somewhere in that range. Now they're wanting $50 for those cars. Yeah, yeah, that's what it comes down to. Like I said, I could be wrong. Maybe it was $99 DCC ready, and it was like 120 with DCC. But either way, it's a nice locomotive. It's detailed pretty decently, just a basic detail. But it was, very affordable. Now, granted, you're going back, 7, 8 years or whatever. So definitely things have risen in cost just in general. But Rick, you had a good point there too. Used to be the manufacturer that only produced budget models, and you were supposed to super detail it yourself. We live in a lazy society; everyone wants them done for them. Yeah, I mean, they would have all the detailed parts. You'd buy the blue box, and you'd have all like the brake cylinders and all the steps and shit for a little blister pack, or not a little envelope pack, and you would detail. You put all the parts on yourself, and then you could do other detailing too. But even like just the basic parts that they came with, you had to put the horn on and stuff like that. Sometimes you had to put the railings on. Yeah, well, like with your trains, I can't even help you there. I don't know anything about O scale stuff. Um, okay, see you, JD. Well, that's what it's come down to, Randall. All the cool stuff now is only being made in like rivet counter quality. I keep saying rivet counter, but I mean that down the line with all the companies. It's just easier for me to say rivet counter. I know that's a Scale Trains brand, but yeah, I mean, for sure. And the problem is they keep raising the damn price on them. When I was first started buying rivet counters, even the rivet counters were good prices. So you say 120 for the operator with sound and everything, and the rivet counter was maybe 189 to 200, 225, something like that. When they first started coming out with the Givos, the tier fours, 240, 250. Brand new with sound, keep alive, and even their keep alive, whatever how they call it. Turn the damn layout off, and or you pick it up off the track. It don't last. It would stay on for a few seconds. It don't. You put a keep alive, one of those current keepers, in one of those tsunami decoders, and that damn thing will stay running 10 seconds plus. So, I mean, that was a big selling point, too. Now, I don't know if they still put those, keep alives, what do you want to call them, Scale Trains calls them, power packs or whatever in there. But sound decoders are expensive, but I look for new locomotives that I can dismantle easily and try doing myself. Yeah, well, that was like these two GP38s I showed you guys last week. Brand new, with the speaker installed, DCC ready, 21 pin. It was, with shipping, paid $150. Now the decoder was another $100, of course. And then I have capacitors, so I made my own current keeper, just two capacitors. I don't need to stay running like for seconds and minutes or whatever. I just need to get over any dirty spots or any bad frogs and things like that, So capacitors I already had, and that's easy to do. But if I would have bought a current keeper from Soundtracks, it would have been another $26 on top of that. So, I mean, I still got a good 2 to 250 tied up in them. The details and stuff aren't there, but anymore you can't get a river counter for that or a Genesis for that. You're going to pay $300 to $350. And then I 3D printed those MU hoses. Or you could do what I did on these older ones and use a little bit of wire, thin wire. And make your own. Are they fancy? Are these actually prototypical the way I did it? Is it, if I get the camera up close and, in a microscope, is it going to look completely awesome? Probably not. But from that 3-foot rule, it looks just fine. I don't know that I would go that far. Sure, some people are that way, but people like me, we just don't have the workspace or time to work on those models. So that's a good point too. And so there should be room for both in the hobby. I think in their defense of saying lazy, I wouldn't say lazy. I would just say there's just a lot of nice stuff out there that's ready to roll. You take it out the box, throw it right on the layout, and don't have to do anything to it. I enjoy building certain kits. Not tank cars. I hate building tank cars, but like gondolas, putting box cars together, covered hoppers. They're easy to do. They're fun to do. There's something to tinker with. And usually you get them for a pretty good price. And if you buy your couplers and your wheels in bulk, you get a better price. Pricey, but you get a lot of it, so it'll last you, Instead of just buying like a pack of 4 couplers, you buy the pack of 50 or 100. You pay up front, but then you have them for a long time. Especially if you're trying to upgrade your couplers from plastic to metal, that's the way to go. Same thing with your wheel sets. And that's all things that you don't think about when you get into the hobby. You think about the trains, the track, the layout, that kind of stuff. You don't think about all the tools, the paints, the other items you would need to, like upgrade and just stuff like that, and we accumulate so much. I mean, just even simple things, scale ruler, you got your, what do you call it? Your little track gauges and stuff, um, coupler height gauges, stuff like that. You get this is all just stuff randomly sitting on my bench, along with a myriad of uh, glue and let's see, I got some paint sitting up here, some brushes. I mean, just a bunch of stuff with screwdrivers and cutters, and this is why I do a lot of my work at. So your workbench just has all these things on it, And anyways, I'm just rambling. And my workbench also has my touch track on it, so that takes up room. Kind of annoying, but it takes up room. I don't know where else to put it. But I could just put it away somewhere and bring it out when I want to use it, but that kind of is inconvenient too. I don't have the time to do a lot of stuff. I do outsource some of my stuff and just making a fair statement on how things used to be and how they are now. And also, though, Jason, a lot of stuff wasn't available like it is now, like ready to run stuff. So guys kind of had to do those things if they wanted the details. Now these manufacturers, because guys want them, are modeling, making stuff already done for you. Well, and that's a good point too, Randall. Now, like when they were offering the operator, they were only doing basic stuff. They weren't offering like the heritage units and stuff like that in operator. It was only in rivet counter. So that was another thing. It's probably another reason why they weren't selling as many, because guys that wanted the, like you said, the CN heritage schemes, they had to go buy the more expensive one if they wanted it in a scale trains model, because they weren't offering it in the cheaper versions. Yeah, I'll have to watch that video, man. I don't have anything from those guys. This point now is what has got me stopped from buying freight cars for right now. Once they drop again, I'll be buying again. There's train shows over an hour and a half away. Got a lot of freight cars for decent prices for sale. Not sure what your price range is. That's kind of become a problem too. There's not as many stores, and that it's all like online, and then shipping's gotten out of this world. Like I just canceled. I had two Rapido Jeep 30, well, they're Jeep 40s. I think they're not out yet. I think they're coming out at the end of the year or early next year with the slugs, GP 40s or something. I just canceled my order because of the shipping and stuff too. So because if you're gonna cancel it now beforehand. I mean, James had something mailed to my house because I'm going to see Mike on November 1st. Anthony, he's probably gone. Don't let me forget to bring that to give to Mike to take to James, because it was, I think it was an envelope. There were decals, right, James? And I think it was, well, at least on the package, I think it says like 75 cents. And you're saying it's going to cost them over $20 plus to mail it to him directly. was like, heck yeah, man, send it to me. I'm going to see him anyways, and I'll give it to him. Mike, I don't mind doing that. The same thing if I was going to buy something from Outer Valley, I'd have you pick it up or whatever and have Mike bring it to me. I know he's not, at least he had made a video. I don't know if he's still in that, like if he changed his mind or if he's still doing it, but I think he decided not to do any shipping to the States now. So you can't blame him. It costs too much money. Guys don't want to pay that kind of shipping. Especially if you could get similar items. Even if it's a few bucks more, it'd still be cheaper with the shipping. So it's not good. I think your phones realize that people are spoiled now in all those incredible models. Then we are spoiled, there's no doubt. I love the river counter detail. I really do. The Proto, or the Genesis and the Proto detail. Price sucks, for sure. But again, if you want it all, you got to pay for it, right? Or you buy something and do it yourself. And it's like I said, that was a business decision they had to make to keep their business viable, apparently. And that's okay. I mean, who am I to say it's not my business? And I'm still buying it. It's not like I quit buying it. You know, thankfully, most of the stuff through Scale Trains is pre-order stuff. So you get time to try to save up for it. That's the only thing that saves me. Or buy one or two items. If you buy several, then shipping cost isn't as bad as Dave. Yeah. Yeah, because as he was posting stuff, he was putting stuff aside for me. I was paying for, 2, 3, 4 items at a time, whatever. Because I think it was 2 or 3 different batches I bought stuff through Jason on that sale he was having. And he just kind of kept it aside until I said, okay, that's enough to send it all together, I think it cost me 20 or $25 for, it was a good sized box of cars. So there's some places you can do that. I think like Caboose Hobbies does that. Like if you win like auctions and stuff through them, you can. I think Joe Rader does that. They'll put it aside in a box for Joe, and then when he gets enough stuff bought, then he'll pay the shipping and they'll ship it. Yeah. No, look, man. Again, sometimes I come off a little harsh. I don't try to go on the internet and do that stuff like on Facebook and that, knocking anybody's work, anybody's, what they can afford. I'm pretty fortunate, I know that. My wife's supportive of my hobbies, so I'm not fighting my wife usually in my purchases. But I also do things on the side that help me afford to buy some of these things and save up for them too. Working extra hours. Anytime I pick up extra shifts, we figure it out after taxes, and she lets me put that aside. So I don't take it from the household budget. Just the way we've done it. We've always given ourselves a little allowance every month. She has her hobby. She's big into like crafting and card making and stuff. So she has her things too, So again, it's not a lot of money. It's a little bit. I pay $400 for my fall propane fill up. I burn wood during the winter months. Propane is backup for us. Well, it's kind of tight right now. Yeah. I get it. That's the thing with a hobby. It's a hobby. If you don't have the money for it, then you don't. Okay. So there's the spreadsheets from Jason for all the stuff he still has for sale. He had a lot of nice stuff. Definitely check it out. And prices were really good. He charges you exact shipping. You don't want to take extra for shipping or anything like that. So, and he's helping out a guy who's trying to sell off his stuff. So, Well, and unfortunately, it's an expense. Like I have a gas bill every month because I have city natural gas. So while you have a propane tank to fill, I pay monthly for my gas. So if you added up my gas bill and your propane bill, we'd probably be talking the same amount. I don't pay it in one lump sum though. I'll give you that. Yeah, yeah, really. Layout was created. That's to Colonel Cottonmouth Jason. So yeah, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but there's a group of folks who think that everything should be super detailed, highly realistic, and if you don't follow this rule, get out. Well, that's why there's those certain pages on Facebook and that are for rivet counter type modelers. And that's why I don't comment a lot, very rarely, because you always got some smartass in there that's going to have something to say, and you're going to be wrong no matter what you say. They know more than everybody, blah, blah, blah. They're the expert on everything. So, I still look at stuff. I'll still, read comments and, I'm certain posts and all that kind of stuff. But I rarely do I comment. I barely don't post anything either. Like you never see anything on my regular Facebook. I barely post on my Crooked River group. All kinds of guys comment or post on there. I never post on there. I don't know why. I forget I even have it. So if you have something that's waiting for approval, it may be a month later when I finally see it. I appreciate it. Go ahead and keep posting on there, but like I said, I don't really go on Facebook that much. I don't I don't think that way. I'm prototypicalist, but not a rivet counter. For example, my passenger cars need to be heavyweights. I don't care if the doors and windows aren't correct. Exactly. And honestly, I don't research things enough to really know what 100% prototypical would be. So as long as it looks like it would be the right era, the right scheme color, and that kind of thing, it looks good. Again, what's the first rule about a railroad? It's my railroad, my rules. You don't like it? There's a million other channels out there with railroad shit on them. Go watch those guys. You know, and I'll tell you right off the bat, anytime, even if I do like a how-to, which I don't do very many of them, because you always get some kind of smart ass on there that has something to say. I always tell you, this is how I do it. You don't have to do it this way. If you don't want to do it this way, then that's okay. My LHS will be closing at the end of November. Local hobby store. Hi, Derek. By the way, if you've been in here for a while and I didn't say hi, I apologize. My layout is not realistic. My layout is very simple, but it looks good. Yes, and I like breaking all the rules. Run trains, yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, you see, I got some older units. I got some newer stuff. I got some I don't know, some chessy shit up there, some CNO stuff. Not as much as I had. Got a couple steamers. Got Amtrak, but I also got a bunch of B&O heavyweights, And they probably don't run them prototypicals. I run those with my F7s because I don't have a B&O steamer to run them on. So I don't know. They might have run with them, but I think they might be too old for the F7s. They old heavyweights. I don't know. But those are Bachmann Spectrums, and I love them. They're nice and heavy. They look good. They're supposed to light, but they don't light anymore. Some of them are supposed to light. I think the lights were either burned out or I took them out. Maybe I'll get to lighting them, but shipping international between U.S. and Canada is very stupid because the two governments don't want to work together. Not to get on politics. Yeah, no, that's true. But I'll be going to Dexter. That's good. Be good to see you again. Oh, remind me, man. I don't have time today. Got too much shit to do. I gotta get off of here. But I Want to grab that tender to bring up to you so you have your buddy look at it on that Polar Express of mine, that O scale, or 27, whatever it is. I pre-order it, but I'm waiting on the Rapido C36-7s to come out. I'd like to try and get a new Burlington Northern one. I was excited. I had pre-ordered two of the Rapidos. I think they were GP40s with the slugs. I ordered a unit with a slug unit. And partly because of the whole shipping war thing going on, and partly just because I just have too many other pre-orders and irons in the fire that way. They were probably going to come out around the same time. And I just bought these GP38s, and I'm happy with those. They're not detailed out like that Rapido would be, but they're on strike again. Didn't they just go on strike last year? I sure as hell don't want to help anyway. Hey, Bob. Well, I'm going to be getting out of here. I was trying to get to the bottom of the chat. Yeah, $21 for shipping for that envelope that said 70. I think it said 70 cents or 70 or 80 cents on the stamp. Okay, this brings out those two new Heritage units and that's painted up these past couple of years. Yeah. Yeah, but you got to get them. You already have all the other units. See who's a bad influence now, Rick. Connection for Train World. That's good. No, I wish, man. I probably got a good 10 years yet. I'll be 55 in January, so I'm figuring, 8 to 10 years. Hopefully, I'd love to go at 62, but I got to weigh it all out and see where I'm at. I'm figuring by 65, I'm really hoping everything I need to do will be done as far as being pretty much ready to go for retirement. Personally, I have just as much respect for people who run Tyco trains as someone who runs super detailed, ultra realistic trains. It's all about having fun. Absolutely. There's some pretty cool channels that just run Tyco and, talk about Tyco and stuff. Some of their cars are really cool. I like some of the, the box cars. They got like the pudding cars and the popsicle on it and the green giant and all that kind of stuff. Those are pretty cool. And it reminds you of your childhood too, because, those were the first trains I had as a kid. Those and then some of the early Bachmann stuff. Telling everyone what they should or shouldn't run on their layouts because it's their layout. I just ask people to not criticize why I chose to have stuff specific on mine. Exactly. My layout, my rules. Hey, Jim. There's Jim. Spike Man or whatever his name is now was asking where you were. Thomas. For example, is Nathan DeLay. Love his work. Super detailed. Nope. Super creative. Absolutely. Exactly. Yeah, you ain't missing anything, Rick. Ray Ron. How you doing, Ray Ron? I make rivet counters cry. The counter community is flying crow. If a car has 8 grab irons and needs 9, you'll cut them all off and put on 9 grab irons. Seen him do it. He doesn't criticize others, though. He does not criticize others, and he takes criticism because we always bust his chops on it. Because he literally has a book on the cars of the era, the year, whatever specific, and he will see if he'll find a car at a show and he'll look up the car number to see if it actually was a prototypical number or if he hasn't already or if he has to change the number or all that stuff. But again, that's his thing. That's what he does. We bust his chops. He laughs. He doesn't criticize anybody else. He does this thing. And he's damn good at it. And he has fun. And that's what it's about, right? Yeah. I had a buddy's dad who worked for Conrail. And he would always say, man, these guys are nuts. These rail fanners, they know all these things about these locomotives. They'll ask you questions about this and that. And the other goes, And I don't know. I just drive the damn things. I work for the railroad. I don't know if it's got this motor or that, this, that, or the other. You know, it's just like you drive so many different locomotives, and you operate so much different equipment that you don't know every detail about every little thing. Yeah, 1976, KCS. Yeah, I'm not super good with the electronics either. Gotten a lot better, but it's taken some time. And I still end up having to call Jason, like with programming and stuff. I just the other day when I was programming that thing, I had the one locomotive I programmed had a beacon light, and I must have programmed that into this new locomotive, and one of the ditch lights was just flashing like a beacon. I was like, what the hell did I do wrong on this thing? I figured it out with his help, but like, you're a knucklehead, Me, I'm a knucklehead. How many of these things I program now? I shouldn't have to call Jason when I need to get bailed out, but he always says he doesn't mind. Probably just humoring me. Yeah, little beaver. That's funny. Could care less even more now if they're accurate, but that's a different subject altogether. Yeah. Yeah, don't hold your breath. I don't know when that thing's gonna leave. I think Wilmer was busting his chops Tuesday about it. You might have to go pick it up, make the video for him. Oh, from Toyman, yeah. I got like 4 hoppers from him when he was selling CP hoppers. When he was selling all his stuff a few years ago. He had like that auction in the end. Almost, you're a little bit older than me, huh? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Lifelike. Well, I can't remember if it was Tyco, Lifelike. But those were fun cars. They had a lot of beer cars. They had like meat cars like Swift and all them, refrigerated cars. Ah, there you go. Hmm. You say that, but you do a good job with scenery, man. Tell you what. And that night shot you showed um, of your lumber yard looked really cool. And even that little flickering light. Yeah, that's the thing too, Bob. I mean, guys sometimes make it towards it's not even fun, you know. Especially, and then you get somebody in that is doing what they can do. They're doing the best they can do, and their skill level. And you get guys busting on them and stuff, especially on Facebook, and it's just not cool, man. Oh, cool. Yeah, you get a lot of clubs like that. They still run a lot of those because just to have the volume of cars, sometimes you have to. And this is the downside of clubs too. I've heard there could be a lot of politics involved and stuff in there, river counters and that kind of ruin things. But yeah, yeah, I would say that's enough. And we just have the one cat. Our dog passed away a few years ago, and I'm not really in a hurry to get another dog if ever. Tycho was the king for that kind of stuff. They might not have been the best made stuff, but you gotta love the creativity, yeah. But the thing of it is they're all upgradable. You know what I mean? You can upgrade the trucks. You can body mount the couplers. Cut the chunky steps off and that kind of stuff, and add wire steps. And you could do some things to upgrade them if you really wanted to. And that's kind of another fun thing of modeling. You can do that stuff and upgrade them a little bit, anyways. Just like the Welders main lines. I got a lot of their box cars. They're 60-foot high cubes, and their ladders are a little chunky in that. I guess I could take them off and do brass or something like that, but they're fine. They're fine to me. It's good enough. Now, I do have a couple more like rivet counter type cars here and there, but most of it's not. Most of it's not. Just, your operator quality or your mainline quality. I don't think I have any train line, so it's like a step above train line, which would be closer to that Tyco level. But, like your blue boxes I have, AccuRails. I have a lot of AccuRails, especially covered hoppers. A good portion of my covered hoppers are kits. Yeah, the mainline rolling stock, and like I said, they're raising the prices on that too, but comes with their metal wheels, which are just fine, and their metal couplers are turbo couplers. I don't know what they call them, but they're metal, and they work just great with KDs. I don't have to replace them or anything, and they're metal and they're nice and they work great. And you get that all comes with it, and yeah, the detail isn't overly detailed, but it has detail. Like I think I think on the doors, and one sitting over there, so I keep looking over there. The the rods and stuff on the doors, I think, are separately applied. So even for like a main line, you're still getting some detail, and you're definitely getting a tough car. You can handle it, and not break things off constantly. Oh, quail! That sounds good. Here they're good to eat too. Chickens. Ugh. Hello, hi. How are you? Good to see you. I'm trying to get out of here. I got things I got to get done today, man. So you guys go. I'll be up on the 23rd, though. Yeah, because we'll be in London next week, so we're leaving tomorrow night. So wish me luck. Never traveled international before, other than Canada, but I've only driven to Canada. I never have flown into Canada, and it'll be interesting. So I will talk to you guys in a couple weeks. So you guys take it easy. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Good subjects today, though. I enjoy talking about this kind of stuff. So, all right. Bye for now.